Stop. No bark. Hi, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. I'm here with a bit of an impromptu live. As you know, most of my lives lately have been pre-recorded due to this ridiculous sling I've been having to wear due to having shoulder surgery. But I wanted to make sure that I popped on today because today is the day that our new catalog goes live. And everybody who's ordered from me should have received theirs in the mail already. If you haven't, please contact me. I want to make sure you have your hands on our new printed catalog. The printed catalog does not include everything that's available. We have quite a few things that are available as online exclusives, which are not included in the catalog. So you want to make sure you check those out. And our catalog has a bit of a new look to it, and it's thrown a few people for a loop. Some people totally love it. Some people totally don't. But I think you're going to like it a little better once I explain to you why it's laid out the way it is and point out some of the features that you may have missed. So I want to make sure that we walk through and take a look at those things. So I'll bring you down to my desk. And of course, this is the cover, which you all have seen. And I have not been able to show you the inside until today. And you'll notice I've got flags all over it. So I wanted to remember certain things because there's a lot to look at in here. Of course, one of the first things we have is our index, and I wanted you to point that out because this shows the flow of our catalog. And this new catalog is arranged in an order to where it starts out with step-by-step crafting. That's a lot of our paper pumpkin and our kits and things that are pretty much ready to go, quick and easy, great for travel, new beginners, all those sorts of things. We've got some quick and easy options, which bumps it up just a little bit. Maybe that's some Infirma packs and some ready-made note cards and envelopes, those sorts of things. Then we get into the creativity your way, which is mostly what we're used to, where we have our sweet collections, our bundles, all those sorts of things. So this is going to run you down through how that all works. And then I want to point out in the corner the little what do we call this? Not an index. This is a legend. That's the word I'm looking for. The legend at the bottom that's going to show you what some of these things mean. There's going to be QR catalogs throughout the whole catalog, or QR codes. And then there's going to be these little symbols that's for English, Spanish, and French, because we do have a couple sets that are available in Spanish. That's one of the things that's been asked for that we haven't had, and they're not making such a big deal out of it, and these symbols are really little. So I'll try to remember to point those out as we get there. And then they have a little shopping basket. When the samples they're showing, they're going to tell you what products are used in there for some of them. So again, I said we start out with step-by-step crafting. That's going to be our kits. So here's some samples. They're not going to give the item numbers for the kits because they are online exclusives. You want to go online and check those out, but there's quite a few now. They're releasing 2 a month. Then there's the paper pumpkin, which is our monthly crafting kit that comes in the mail as a subscription or a prepaid item. Then there is this great layout on pages 16 and 17. They're showing you the top 10 items. So for somebody who's a brand new stamper, has never stamped before, they're going, what do I need to have in order to make a card? Well, they're going to tell you, you need your paper snips. You'll need some adhesives. You'll, of course, need ink, blocks, stamps, a punch, note cards and envelopes, something to clean up, and of course me. So if you got everything that's on this page, you're ready to make a complete card. Going the long way, that's, if you don't get a kit. These are some mix and match items. This is, that's the word I can't pronounce, Emphera. Anyway, you've got your printed note cards and envelopes, these little packs that are basically pre-printed die cuts that you can punch out and use on your cards. And then there are some simple stamp set at the bottom that covers a lot of things. Now, even if you're not new to stamping, this may be a good stamp set to take a look at because it does cover everything. It's got happy birthday, thank you, celebration, miss you, birthday wishes, just a note, hello, thinking of you, kind of a great overall sentiment stamp set. There's some really pretty examples, and they're telling you, what they use to put them together. And then here on page 22, they have given you what we call card layouts. And so these are just some layouts that you could use in making some cards. And I'll show you where they point that out later on in the catalog. I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. I did. These are my little reminder flags. This is our color family coordination. As you know, the color coordination is my absolute favorite thing about Stampin' Up, is that they arrange things in not only just subtles, brights, regals, and neutrals, but then once you're into a color, the cardstock, the designer series paper, your markers, everything, your embellishment ribbons, everything is all match color coordinated, which is awesome. Here's a couple other simple stamp sets. They're talking about the various occasions that you can create cards for. Some more kind of, pre-cut cards and envelopes, and then some memories and more that you can use for either card making or scrapbooking. Here's showing some ways that you can use Stampin' Up supplies as kind of wrapping paper and presentation for gifts. Then we're going to get into the creativity your way, which is what most of us are used to in our catalogs. So this is going to show you, of course, all of the suites. And a suite is where they arrange things together, where we have a stamp set, a set of dies, which are a bundle, and that would be purchased at 10% off. But then they're going to add to it the embellishments and the designer series paper, and everything on this page is going to be available with the one item number. So if you use this one item number at the top, it's going to add everything on this page. And then, of course, I was saying there were QR codes. That's this over here. So a QR code is something that what you would do is open up the camera on your phone, and you're just going to point the camera at this little symbol, and it's going to show up on your screen a little link. And if you click on that link, it's going to open up your browser, and it's going to take you to a video and show you some more information about this. It's that easy. So just open up your camera, point it at the little symbol, click on the link on your screen, and you're taken to the video. So of course there's multiple suites. We're used to all of that. Like I said, I'm mostly running through the new features of the catalog and the layout. You're going to want to take a look at all of these gorgeous products. I know I'm going a little fast, but I didn't want this video to be super long. This is a mega suite. What a mega suite is it means that there are two bundles that coordinate together, and then they have the various items that go with it. This one has the two bundles, the two designer series papers, the embellishments, the ribbon, and an embossing folder. And so all of that is included in the one number. And if you want them individually, the numbers are going to be down here. This is one of the ones that I remember having a Spanish option for. So this is our Unbound Beauty Suite collection. It is another one of those mega suites because it has the two bundles, the two papers, and embellishments. And down here, you'll notice it has the little symbol for Spanish. And so all of these sentiments in here have the option of being in Spanish. So good thing to point out. I also absolutely love basic shapes. And so I just couldn't wait to get my hands on these awesome dies down here. This is another new thing that Stampin' Up! Has started doing, is this suite actually includes these little layering masks, and they're basically stencils. And those stencils are used to color the image. So you can either choose to stamp it in a color and die cut it out, or leave it on your project and don't color it at all. If you were to stamp this in a color and then use kind of a monochromatic look, it would be totally fine. You could color it in with watercoloring, markers, your Stampin' Blends, any of those things, or you can color using the masks, and these masks will go one on top of each other, and you use the blending brushes to add the color. And I'll be doing a video showing you how to do that later on, because I do have my set on order. It's not quite here yet, but it is coming. This is an option that is new to this catalog. They have given you a stamp set, and then you can choose if you want to bundle it with dies. This is one die that would cut out 3 pieces, or you can get it with a punch. And then this one is the same thing. It's a die cut or a punch. You choose the option that you wanted to purchase that with. You would still save the 10% by using the numbers up here. You would just want to make sure that you were choosing the one that comes stamp set and punch or stamp set and die. And of course, that's the 10% off symbol. This is kind of a test because we have had some complaints about not having as many punches in the catalog as we used to. And that's because they're not purchased as much. And so this was kind of a test to see if we give you the option, do you want to die or do you want to punch? They're going to be keeping track of what comes in order-wise and make future decisions on that. Okay, now this is one of the things that is really tiny, and you may not notice, so again, I'm pointing it out, is up here in the corner. I'll bring it up so you can see. Can you see this little symbol right here? That little symbol is a color wheel, and that's going to reference a color wheel in the back of the catalog. And then over here, this is referencing a card layout. Now, remember when I mentioned those card layouts back on, I think it was page 22, this is one of the layouts that they gave you in the little images down on the bottom. And this is how they used that. So this layout is following this sketch. And then this card is following this color combination on the wheel. So there's going to be more of those, this is actually using a sketch and color combinations. There's these little blocks that are going to talk about the Stampin' Up! Making a Difference Day of Service. Stampin' Up! Is really good about doing donations and service projects and those sorts of things. And so they're going to highlight some of those things in these throughout the catalog. Again, card sketch. Basic shapes. I love those. So this is doing a lot of bundles. Then they're going to move into what they call the Encore collection. And this is stuff that is coming back. Again, we'll notice things are not actual size in the catalog. The reason they're doing that is they're trying to cut down on the counterfeits out there, and not having them in actual size is helping us kind of curb that counterfeit out there. So it's not to throw anybody off, it's to try to keep our copyright to ourselves. Up here, you'll notice there's another QR code. This one's actually going to take you to Pinterest. Did you know that Pinterest has its own, or Stampin' Up! Has its own Pinterest page? And they will pin a lot of the projects that are in the catalog to that. And you'll also want to check out my Pinterest page. That's pretty robust as well. So if you ever wanted to know what to do with a stamp set or bundle that you have, you can pop on over to Pinterest and you can put in Stampin' Up!, the name of the stamp set, and then it's going to take you to a whole bunch of examples that you can use. This is just talking about the difference between the cling stamp and the photopolymer. Here they're talking about cleaning them. So again, aimed a lot at beginner stampers, because we found that beginner stampers would look at our catalog and be very overwhelmed. And so they're trying to break it down and make it a little bit easier for those new people. And then when we come out with the minis, the mini catalogs are going to be aimed at us avid stampers. And so I'm not going to make any panic judgments until I start seeing the mini catalogs. And if they're aimed at me as an expert, I'm going to absolutely be totally happy with that. Okay, this is doing two-step stamping. It's showing them how it's done. And of course, there's a stamp set that goes with it, and then some Encore ones that also do two-step stamping. They've given you some scenery stamps, and then they're telling you that you can use those for day or night, summer or winter, stamps or dies, kind of just some options that they're going throughout the catalog. Here they're talking again, we've got a background stamp. The background stamps are all along the bottom here. They work best with your block F, which they have featured down here and given you the item number. They're doing an inking technique, a full background stamp, and then they're fussy cutting a background stamp. This is saying kudos to our demonstrators, and they're showing that this is a $1 million set. So when achiever Margaret Van Vliet achieved her $1 million in sales, she was able to work with a designer at Stampin' Up! And design her own stamp set that they're featuring in this catalog. So that's what that little symbol means. Here again is another one of those incentive trip service projects. And then a lot of our Stampin' Storage, or Stampin' Up! Storage. I also do Stampin' Storage. If you are interested in that, let me know. Because that's those like things behind me, those cubbies and my ink pad holder. All of that is Stampin' Storage, which is an affiliate link that I have. Boy, I just can't talk today. I haven't been live in so long that now I'm just like tripping over my words. Hopefully I'm over that before I start doing some card making again, huh? Okay, so again, I was talking a little shopping cart. They're saying that in this card, they have used the Bright and Beautiful Designer Series paper, and then they're giving you the number for it. Another color wheel option. And again, I want to point this out because, again, this is going to get lost. What this is our Designer Series paper that we offer in color families. And this is available in brights, regals, neutrals, in colors for both years, and subtles. And there's only one color here. But basically, these patterns are available in absolutely every color that Stampin' Up! Has. You can also order the cardstock in every color that Stampin' Up! Has. And these are multi-packs. And so you can purchase a 12 by 12 or an 8.5 by 11 that's going to be an assortment pack. And so in that, you would get 20 pieces of paper. You would get 2 of each color. And so those are listed here. And here's your basic white and your thick basic white, which is another thing people were saying they were having difficulty finding. They are still offering your 12 by 12 and your 8.5 by 11 in both basic white and very vanilla, but the thick very vanilla has been discontinued, as well as the very vanilla envelopes. And I believe it's just because we weren't getting that much sales on it. Here's a wood textured paper. And so this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper that is already sort of been dry embossed for you. It's ready to go. They're talking about various stamping items here. They've got the blending brushes. They've got the scoreboard. And the scoreboard is something I totally recommend if you start making boxes or some of the fancy fold cards. If you do your scoring on a scoring tool instead of on the trimmer, you're going to be much more accurate. And I promise much happier with the end result on how your project goes together. Here's an acronym of CRAFT, create really awesome, fun things. And then they're saying with kids. So again, you could make cards for kids, or kids can be stamping with these really cute little sets. Here's all our metallics. They have redesigned our embossing powders, and we have basic embossing powders and we have metallic embossing powders. And both of them are in the process of being manufactured by a new manufacturer, and we don't quite have those in stock yet. So please be patient with us. They are coming, and I promise they're going to be awesome. It's going to be worth the wait. Okay, here is our ribbons. So there's quite a few ribbons. And if you look at the numbers here, that's going to tie back to the numbers on our list. I kind of like it better when they put the definition or the little description next to the item, but they like this layout. They're talking about the product give back and the donations that they make. And then this is our embellishments. And I'm very excited to say that these ones down here, and again, they're on back order. I apologize. They were ordered and they didn't come in time for the catalog release, but they will be available. They tell us not next week, but the following week. So there's a little bit of a delay, but I love the fact that they're a little bit different in that rather than being totally raised like these other ones are, they're kind of flattened on the top. And so these ones are going to be much easier to get through the mail, much like our brass butterflies or sequins. Those sort of things are not going to poke a hole in your envelope when they go through the mail. If you are worried about things poking through the envelope and you're just really happy with these embellishments, you might want to put a little bit of foam in there. You know that foam that they use for wrapping dishes when you're packing? It's really thin foam. You can cut that up and use that as a layer in there, or you can use just a piece of cardstock that you put between the embellishment and the envelope, and that will give some protection and keep your envelope from ripping. Here's all of our adhesives, of course, and then there is the regular adhesive, and then there's the refill. When you adhesive, the case, much less expensive to get the refill. These little symbols right here are telling you what they are good for. That, of course, almost all of them are good with cardstock. Some of them are really good with ribbon. And embellishments, and then of course die cutting. These are the adhesive sheets. These are the things you put this sheet on the back of your cardstock before you do your die cutting, and then you run it through the machine, and then your die cut is going to become a sticker, making it very easy to apply to your project and have no mess whatsoever. We have adhesive strips, we have foam adhesive sheets, and then we have our dimensionals. I want to point out that the strips are not the same thickness as the dimensionals themselves. So if you start putting together a shaker card and you're using the strips, it works fantastic. Just make sure that in the other areas of the card where you would normally maybe use a Stampin' Dimensional, use just little pieces of the foam adhesive strips, and it will keep everything the same height. Here is our various ways that we can watercolor. They're talking about painting with water and how you do that, the pencils and how you do that, the Stampin' Spritzers, and then using the pastels. A lot of people don't know what to do with those. Here they're giving you an example of how to use them. Of course, because these are all working with water, all of these options are water-based. You want an alcohol-based ink, because whatever you are coloring with as your medium, you want the opposite as your outline. So if you're using alcohol inks, like our Stampin' Blends, then you want to use our Memento black ink or any of our regular standard colors, because like mediums are going to blend together, and you want the coloring that you're coloring with to blend, but you don't want the line item to blend. Does that make sense? Okay, here they are talking about some of the other ways that you can add fun to your cards. You can do fun folds, maybe make a peekaboo, maybe a slider card. They're showing you how you do those. They're doing it with little washers. I've also done it with pennies. Here's some more fun ideas on how to do window shaker cards. When we get our photopolymer stamp sets, they come on those little acetate layers. I will usually take my stamps off those little acetate layers and stick them to the inside of my stamp case, and then I use those acetate pieces to create my shaker cards. Here they're just doing some layering, talking about how to use the brayer, making a scene, creating shapes, just a lot of instructions and tips and tricks that you can use when you are creating. Here they're teaching you how to heat emboss. So, I mean, here's how to use the embossing paste. I don't suggest using this as your only instructions. I suggest you would watch maybe some of my stuff over on YouTube, and then when you need a refresher course or want to remember something, these might come in really handy, or they'll even just teach you that you need to go over to YouTube and check it out. I want to point out that you may want to check online, because they're not telling us here the sizes of the various embossing folders, but a couple of them are huge. I don't know if you can see here, but this one right here it's huge. I want to say it's like 6 by 8.5. I mean, it's look at it in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It is really big compared to our standard size that we're used to. And the idea is that you can use bigger projects and maybe emboss both sides of your card, because you can put an 8.5 by 5.5 into the folder and then run it through the machine, and it's going to emboss both front and back of your card. Here they're doing the Stampin' Blends, telling you again you want to use water-based ink with alcohol-based blending. And then, of course, we still have our Stampin' Write markers, which are water-based. And then these are the alcohol-based, are their Stampin' Blends. So they're two different kinds. Here is that color wheel I was talking about. This is showing you all the various colors that Stampin' Up! Has and the way they fall on a color wheel. And then over here, they're teaching you how to use that color wheel. That you would stay monochromatic by sticking within kind of this range. You would do complementary by doing a crossed from something. Analog, the triadic. I mean, there's here you would, this explains it better than I do, but it's how to use the color wheel. Then again, there's our color families. All of that stuff we're used to in a fabulous index. Now, don't overlook the index, because this is more robust than it's been in the past. In the past, our index has been one that's been, you know, your adhesives and your tools and those sorts of things, and then a separate index for the stamp sets. And now they have kind of combined them. So we have our adhesives on these pages, embellishments. Here's your different types of embellishments, your dies. They've listed out all the names. Here's where to find your embossing folders, embossing paste, ink and coloring. So just take a look at this and familiarize yourself with this index, and you will find it much easier to find product within the catalog. Almost to the end. Okay, down here they're talking about the rewards. Now, we don't have the standard Hostess rewards graph that we're used to, where it says if you reach $150 in sales, you're going to get this much in free product as your Stampin' Rewards. That's because the Stampin' Rewards program is going to be changing sometime before this catalog ends, and it's going to be different. And so it's going to be more fair to everybody. It's not going to be focused as much on the host. It's going to be rewarding you for your own personal sales. And so I think it's going to be a good thing, but it is going to be different. So keep an eye out for that. And I will, of course, let you know more as we know more. And then, of course, this is a QR code that you can use to take you to the store. I would recommend that you please use the one off of my website, because that's going to bring you to my store so that I get credit for the sales, which I greatly appreciate. And then if you make cards and sell them using Stampin' Up! Products, then Stampin' Up! Would request that you find a stamp that has the copyright Stampin' Up! And put that on the back of your cards, just so that Stampin' Up! Gets credit for the artwork, not for your work, but for the artwork within it. And so that is the legal jargon talking about our angel policy. They absolutely want you to make cards and sell them if you wish, but they want to get credit for it. So I guess that kind of makes sense. So that is it on our annual catalog. I hope that helps you understand it a little bit better. And again, I didn't go over individual product as much as maybe other walkthroughs. It was more on how the catalog is organized and why, and some of the features you may miss on first glance. So check that out. And then also on my website, you can check out my Funfold tutorial book that is now available. And it is 90 pages long. It is robust, has lots of samples. It has full directions. It has great graphics. There's 50 different patterns in here. And any of my graphs that I made were all originally done to scale and then shrunk. So they were done in actual size and then pulled down. So they're all going to be to scale. And that's available on my website, queenbeecreations.net. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here as always. And I hope to be back stamping with you live within the next week or two. So this week I have planned out and it is pre-scheduled. And I think there's 3 videos left before I go live again. And so thank you for joining me and I hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye.